Hey everyone, welcome to the Hobby Grotto. Today we're painting a Bretonnian monk from the newly re-released Old World range. And as we all know, a Bretonnian army isn't complete without a monk, so let's get started. I'm starting here with an overbrush of Rhinox hide over a black undercoat. And overbrushing like this is incredibly useful anytime you're painting a model which features one colour predominantly. It's going to save you time, and Rhinox hide is a great base for lots of different colours anyway, so bonus. Next up, there are a few details that are going to end up either a light brown or cream colour, so I'm giving them all a base coat of XV88. I generally leave bows dark brown, but there's already going to be a lot of Rhinox hide on this mini with the robes, so I'm painting the bow lighter for a bit of visual interest. And the reason he has a bow is because this model is based on Friar Tuck, or Guy le Gros in Warhammer lore, and I don't have the original model, which is a fantastic miniature from 5th edition, but I thought this would be a fitting champion in my unit of archers to channel that Robin Hood, Bertrand the Brigand vibe, and also I just think the monk minis are very iconic for Bretonnians, so you should use them whenever you can. Back to the good friar here, you can paint this part of the robe any colour, including just leaving it brown, but I want to end up with a cream colour like the original source material, so I'm doing a layer of 50-50 bone and brown, and layering like this is a really good way to achieve lighter colours over a dark undercoat. Otherwise, if you just go straight for a lighter colour, you just need too many layers and things can get ugly, so let's avoid that. Now of course you can paint the skin any colour. I'm basing with Cadian Fleshtone, so it matches the original inspiration for the miniature, and my tip with any kind of flesh paint is to always keep it nice and thin, because you don't want any globby bits on the face. I do actually have a tutorial on painting different skin types, so be sure to check that out too if you're looking for more ideas and techniques. A couple of little details like the black and metal bits also need some attention before we apply the wash. I'm really excited to be painting this old world stuff in preparation for the return of the game, so let me know in the comments which old world projects you're working on. I'd love to hear it, and then that also inspires me for video ideas, so it's all good stuff. You may also notice that this model is on an older base. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to transfer my Bretonnian collection over to the 25mm bases for the old world, but in the meantime, I'm just going to use custom movement trays to get some games in. You could paint this little shield in metallics or in the colours of your army heraldry. I'm doing the classic Bretonnian red and blue here. That's one of the schemes I use for my archers, so it'll all match nicely. And one tip when painting halved or quartered colours like this is always paint the lighter colour first. That way you can come back with the dark colour and fix it up a bit easier. We must now apply the wash. You knew it was coming. Time for some Nuln oil. A brown wash would also work completely fine with the colours on this mini. I prefer more of a black lining to a brown lining effect, but whatever's going to work best for you is the right way to go. Just always make sure to get rid of any pooling. With the wash dry, this mini is already looking pretty tabletop ready, so now we're going to add some more details and layers, and the first thing to do on this monk is rebuild the Rhinox hide and add some highlights. I'm just leaving the wash in the deepest recesses when I come back over with this Rhinox, and then I'm going to build the highlight layers by mixing increasing amounts of XV88 in with the darker brown. Of course, each of these layers is being applied more sparingly than the last to build depth, and you can even add some edge highlights depending on how much time you want to spend on the miniature. This is not an army general or anything, it's just a unit champion, so I'm not going too crazy here, but the robe takes up so much of the mini, you still want to give it a good amount of attention. I couldn't work out what this part of the robe is called, even after some googling. I thought it was called the habit, but that's what the whole robe is called, so we'll just call it the collar. And I'm doing a similar thing here to the rest of the robe, where I'm slowly adding more of the lighter colour into the mix, in this case bone, in layers until it reaches a colour I'm happy with. But as I mentioned earlier, depending on the look you're going for, you could just keep this more of a light or dark brown if you want. I always like to paint the eyes before adding the highlights to the face. That way I can make as many adjustments as I want without worrying about messing up the face, which I think is incredibly important because we all know how fiddly eyes can be. Either that or just don't paint them. Sometimes that's the best option. Once again, I'm harping on about keeping flesh paints nice and thin, but I've had issues in the past, and I don't want that to happen to you. The face is the primary focal point for the model, so we must always be taking extra care here. I'm blending up the face highlights with Kislev flesh, and this can be taken even further with some white mixed in for those extreme highlights. Of course, this is all optional, but as I mentioned, the face is the focal point, so this is where I like to spend most of my time when adding highlights. Lots of other parts of the model, such as the boots, are probably not going to be looked at as much, but the face is definitely going to be looked at, so, spend some time here. It's the finishing kind of part of the model, and you're really going to cap it off nicely with a bit of detail on the face. And there we have the Bretonnian Monk, aka Friar Tuck, aka Guy Le Gros. Thanks for watching, everyone. Why don't you check out some of these other videos, and we'll see you next time on the Hobby Grotto.